YouTube, hello, welcome to something a little bit different for the channel. We're going to be doing a top 10 list. Now, before we get into my top 10 Switch games, which is what this video is going to be about, just want to give a little bit of a warning. There are a lot of Switch games that I have not played. I know there's going to be some people that are like, why didn't you put X, Y, and Z in this list? I haven't played it. Okay, these are my top 10 Switch games. These are the top 10 Switch games that I have personally played. So there may be some stuff on here that maybe you haven't played. There may be some stuff missing on here that's just like, this is the best Switch game ever. How have you not played this? I just didn't have the time yet. So Xenoblade Chronicles is one of them, just as a warning. But I wanted to go through as we're reaching the end of the Switch's life cycle here, and they've got what will likely be the last Switch Direct tomorrow as of this recording. We're recording this on March 26th. We're gonna get our last, likely our last, just dedicated Switch Direct tomorrow. And so I wanted to kind of reflect on some of the games that I enjoyed on the Switch and share that with everybody here, because, you know, folks have always asked kind of what my favorite games are on the Switch, and I figured why not make a video for it. So do some honorable mentions. These are the ones that just missed the top 10, but things that I think are still really fun and stuff that I wanted to mention. First thing that I wanted to talk about was Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition. This is the definitive way to play Devil May Cry 3. It added the ability to switch stances in the middle of missions instead of being forced to stick with only one, which in the original Devil May Cry 3, it was in between missions. You could switch from like Gunslinger to Sword Master, but in the Switch version, you could actually switch that stuff on the fly using the D-pad, which was super cool. It made for an incredibly fun way to replay the game, and it's the best way to experience Devil May Cry 3 for the first time. So if you're interested in Devil May Cry 3 with the upcoming Netflix show coming out, Devil May Cry 3 is the origin story of like how Dante became the devil hunter that you expect to see today. So as the Netflix show I think is also telling his kind of origin story, probably pre Devil May Cry 3, Devil May Cry 3 would be the next step in that series. So if you wanted to give it a shot, I'd check it out on the Switch. Next up is Super Mario RPG and Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. This is not our first combo. This is not our last combo, rather. We will have more than one combo entry here. But both of these remakes were so incredibly well made, and they were just so fun. Just so fun to play through again. And I played both of the originals. The Super Mario RPG, my very first playthrough, is actually here on YouTube as well if you're interested. But in the Super Mario RPG remake, they actually added enough to kind of make it its own thing, gave it its own little flair, which was a lot of fun. And then Thousand Year Door was so faithful, it's become my definitive way to play the game. And no, I'm not concerned about the deflect timing. I'm fine. Like I know that's a pain point, but overall, I think they did a great job. It was a lot of fun. I very much enjoyed it. Next up is one that might surprise some folks. It's Pokemon Sword. This is one of two Pokemon entries on the honorable mention list, and this would have never been in consideration for a top list in the era until Dynamax Adventure released. Once Dynamax Adventure released, this game mode changed my entire perception of Pokemon Sword, and I just had so many hours spent and so many memories made from going through the Dynamax Adventures that I simply wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And so when that came out, it really did change my opinion of the game. Not enough to put it in a top 10 list from the best Switch games I've played, but still, it was a good time. And then last but not least for the honorable mentions is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX and Let's Go Pikachu. These two games absorb so many of my hours on the couch. Although they both just missed my top 10, I enjoyed both of them an enormous amount, and especially being able to co-op Pokemon on the game on the couch with Let's Go Pikachu. I'm very much hoping that they do a Let's Go game for Gen 2. That's not a secret for the Pokemon fans who've watched my reactions to the Pokemon Presents over the last 2 years, but hopefully they come up with something soon. Alrighty, at number 10, we have Super Mario Party Jamboree, one of the most recent additions to the Switch's library of games. I've already logged enough hours in Jamboree to have it in my top 20 games in terms of time played, which is crazy. Apart from the Great Party mode, the addition of Koopathlon and the Bowser one that I can't remember the name of. It elevated the game to a place where Mario Party hasn't been in a really long time. It's exciting to see a new Mario Party experience that has this level design and the gameplay that we've really come to love over the course of like Mario Party's history over the last couple of decades now. But it's nice to see them make a brand new experience. Then it's got me excited to see what they come up with next. At number 9 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I was on the fence for Ultimate, believe it or not, leading up to the Game Awards, and the Game Awards revealed, you know the one.
Okay.
This is Joker. I've infiltrated the theater.
Invited to steal the greatest treasure of all.
What? Smash Bros? Is this for real?
Once that happened, at that moment, I ran to my Switch and pre-ordered the most expensive version available because I knew this was going to be something special. Ending Sora's the last DLC character was something out of a storybook, and it wrapped together into the best Smash experience I've had since Melee released on the GameCube. Although I don't play Smash as much as I used to, I'll always be down to goof around and have a Pokemon battle in Smash. That includes with you. You want to play sometime, let me know. At number 8, we have Super Mario Odyssey. It took me a long time to give this game a shot, as the only 3D Mario game I'd played before was Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube. After taking some time off work, I decided I was going to grind through it and do the best I could to finish it. I ended up finishing it in just a few days, but just because it grabbed a hold of me. Like the second I started playing it, it was just so unique and so fun that I just kept playing. It was a super great experience, and one that has me excited about the next 3D Mario entry, and one that's got me excited to try out some of the old 3D Mario entries, which if you haven't seen, I also streamed me playing Mario 64 for the first time on Mario Day. That'll be up here on YouTube, so make sure you subscribe. At number 7 is one that might surprise people. I don't know if anything's surprised anybody so far, but one at 7, but probably going to surprise some people. It's actually Octopath Traveler, the first one. First Octopath Traveler, and that one might surprise some folks, but Octopath Traveler was my first experience with the HD 2D style graphics, and I was so encapsulated by the visuals and the audio of the game that it took me literally dozens of hours before I realized I didn't like the plot. Which, for folks who have been following along my journey here on YouTube and Twitch, you know that the plot is very important to me when it comes to video games, and this game was so special that it took me so long to realize that I just wasn't into the plot. I wasn't having fun with it. I just really liked the game. It was just super fun. And so it's a bit higher than the Mario games for me as a result, just because it had that kind of special impact on me that's got me super interested in seeing older games in this HD 2D style. And it's something that's been super important for Square Enix too, as it led to things like the Pixel remaster and the Dragon Age 3 and Dragon Age 1 and 2 HD 2D remakes. And so as they start to make more of these older games into newer styles, it's exciting to see what they're going to do, and hopefully some other studios actually start picking up this idea as well, because it's a great way to experience the old titles. All that said, I am excited to give Octopath Traveler 2 a shot, because I've heard from a couple of folks that it solves most of my issues with the plot and the way that the characters interact with each other. But as it stands today, I haven't had a chance to get a chance to play it for too long. I did get to play it for a while, and it does seem like it's fun. So I am excited to give it a shot, and hopefully we'll be able to get to it soon. Number 6, and this is the only Pokemon game to crack into my top 10, and it's Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is a game that I appreciated a whole lot, as I really enjoy when Pokemon Company takes a step outside of their comfort zone and tries to take some risk with something new, whether that's with Mystery Dungeon, with Rumble, even with Shuffle, like Pokemon Shuffle. I just like when they try to use the Pokemon IP in more creative ways. Like, I really enjoyed the pinball games, the TCG card game, the actual Game Boy game. I really enjoyed that a lot. And so, like, I really like when they try to take a step out of that standard comfort zone. And like, this game was something so special. And even though there were definitely criticisms, right, there are definitely ways that they could improve upon this game. And that's why I'm looking very much to Legends AZ. Or ZA rather, not AZ, ZA. I mean, this game was so impactful. It's likely going to have an impact on games moving forward, right? Like, the way that they traversed around the open world, the way that they caught Pokemon, that's going to have an impact on open world games moving forward. And that's something that's pretty special. And so I also spent hours trying to get 1,000,000 points in a balloon popping minigame, which it was a fun experience. So if you haven't seen that, by the way, that is also here on YouTube. We did get the 1,000,000 points eventually, because I thought they had 1,000,000 points in the high score slot, right? So like, there has to be a reward for it, right? I'll give you a spoiler alert. There wasn't. So it is what it is. I had a lot of fun with the game. I thought it was a great time. I had a blast, and I think you would too. Our first entry into the top 5 Switch games for me. Remember, this is for me personally, right? For me, these are little games that I have played. It's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, I was not going to include Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on here because I had just an unbelievable amount of fun playing on the Wii U with my friends, and it was a remake, and I felt a little weird putting in the top 10 list of the Switch games. But then the expansion pass came out, and then they remastered like all of these old tracks, and they brought in tour tracks from the phone game, and they brought those to life in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and they gave us new tracks through the expansion pass that were all pretty fun for the most part. Not all of them. But because it added so much new like new characters, new carts, new racetracks, old racetracks remastered. The mobile game racetracks brought to life in the main game title. You know, it definitely deserves to be in the top 5 of my personal list, because I've spent so much time in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe between the Wii U and the Switch. So it absolutely deserves a top 5 spot. At number 4, and this is probably going to be controversial, because I think this is going to be a little bit lower than people expect, but it is Breath of the Wild. And this, again, it might be a little bit of a controversial take, but I do think that Breath of the Wild was a special experience, and it was one that I didn't think possible to recreate. And with that, when I was playing Breath of the Wild for the first time, I was enjoying myself, I was having fun, but then I got to about like 35 to 40 hours into the game, and I just started to lose interest. Like, it just wasn't gripping me in a way that kept me going. And it wasn't a criticism, it's just like, it just wasn't enough to like really grab me. And so I played it kind of sporadically over the course of a full calendar year. And eventually I did get through the end of Breath of the Wild, and I do think that game is great. And I had a great time playing it, but there was just not enough in that game to really push it ahead, to make it like that experience that gripped me for like hundreds and hundreds of hours. And so that's why Breath of the Wild is down at 4 for me. Number 3 is Animal Crossing New Horizons. It's everyone's favorite lockdown game. Although I did enjoy New Leaf a bit more than New Horizons, I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy my time in the Switch counterpart. All of the features and functions of New Horizons kept me engaged for hundreds of hours, no exaggeration, and being able to see my friends flex their creativity, it was always something so special to be able to experience. Add to the fact that it was the best way to spend time together outside of Twitch, and it's a game that will always have a place in my heart as we look forward to the new generation of Nintendo consoles, and likely the new generation of Animal Crossing. Fingers crossed. For my top 2, these are kind of interchangeable for me. As it stands today, like specifically today, this could change any day. But number 2 for me for today is Fire Emblem Three Houses. This game was a pretty special game for me personally. This was my first Fire Emblem game. So it was the first Fire Emblem game I ever played, and it was just a nice way to experience the Fire Emblem universe without going back and trying all the old games first. And I found myself constantly thinking about this game while I was playing it, while I wasn't playing it. I was super invested in trying to recruit all of the folks to my house so I could have more options and have more friends to help raise up their levels, have more unique like skills and things, or classes to use. And the conversations with your allies and the way that you raised ability was something that I really enjoyed, especially coming out of my first playthrough of Persona 5 for the first time. And it was just an excellent way to cure my Persona 5 hangover. And it's a game I think I'll always enjoy as I start to look to play some of the older Fire Emblem titles. And I have started to look into possibly playing those here on YouTube. So if that's something that you're interested, leave a comment down below, let me know. And then sitting at number 1, which should probably be a surprise to no one at this point, is Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom is a game that had a vice grip on my soul for 2 straight weeks. It was everything that made Breath of the Wild great, but it was on steroids. And with the new areas to explore, even though it was just up in the air and down below underground, they had so many unique like ruins and inhabitants and like information about both of those areas and like the way that people lived there and stuff. It was just so engrossing that when you went away from the story, it felt like you were rewarded for going through and exploring these areas and finding things and like getting like the pose down in the underground area and getting new items and stuff to help you explore the areas more. And it was just something that left me wanting like more. It left me wanting like, I want to go back into this. I need to have some more fun with this. I need to jump back into this. Let me go jump into the shrines. And I went through like all of the shrines and I tried to like explore all of the map. And you know, as I was going through everything, I just what was left felt fulfilled in a way that I haven't felt in a Zelda game since Ocarina of Time. So it's been a long time for me. And like, that's not to say that I didn't enjoy the things in between. Don't come after me, Zelda fans. I love Zelda games. I love them all so much. But this left me felt fulfilled in a way that I just hadn't felt in a very, very long time. And it was just a very special experience for me in particular. So it was nice to be able to go through the experience. I'm obviously not going to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't been able to play Tears of the Kingdom yet. But for me, it was a more special experience than Breath of the Wild. And it's something that I very much appreciate as I continue to reminisce on the days on the Switch. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of games that on the Switch that I've played over the course of the Switch's life cycle, which is, God, I think it's been 8 years at this point. And I'm very much looking forward to the Switch 2, man. I'm excited to share it with everybody here. I'm excited we're going to be streaming the the Switch Showcase tomorrow over on Twitch. Obviously, I'll have my reactions up here on YouTube as well for folks that are interested. And if there's any individual games that I like that I think would be fun to share with the community, I'll post those individually, obviously. But then I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they've got for the Switch too. You know, I'm excited to see the new experience. I'm excited to see the new games. You know, I'm very much growing into being a Nintendo fan, I suppose, if you want to call it. I use the word fan very loosely. I'm enjoying my time playing games on the Switch casually, though, and I'd love to make some more content with the Switch games, man. I really do enjoy the Nintendo Switch. I really do enjoy playing the games on the Switch, and it's something that's I've grown to appreciate more as I've gotten older. So I hope you all enjoyed the top 10 Switch games for me personally, the games that I have played. Let me know what everybody's top 10 list is. And if you think there's a game that I haven't played yet or that wasn't mentioned here today, leave it down below. And I know Xenoblade Chronicle fans, I know that that's one of them. And eventually, I promise you I will get to it. I promise you I will get to it. I know I will enjoy it. I haven't had time. And so it's, you know, it is what it is. We'll get there. But yeah, feel free to let me know what your top 10 is below. And again, if you think there's something, because you guys know the channel, you guys have seen my content. You know, I play a lot of RPGs, a lot of action games, a lot of Pokemon games, obviously. If you think there's something that you think that I would enjoy, leave it down in the comments. Let me know, man. I'd love to check it out and give it a shot. And yeah, I appreciate you all watching. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video, comment, and subscribe. I hope you all are excited about the Switch Directs this week and next week. I know I'm excited. I can't wait to share it with everybody. And then, yeah. I appreciate y'all. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And as always, we'll see you again in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.